In finishing up my series on forgiveness, I'm going to talk for a minute about what if somebody asks you for forgiveness? How should you respond? Well, after what I said in the last video, I'm not going to say you should just be like, oh yeah, I forgive you. I want you to tell the truth. If you're not ready to forgive, it's okay to say, hey, what you did really hurt me, and I'm not ready to forgive you. That would be honest. That would also help the other person to understand what happened, but it will also put you in the position of realizing that you have a choice to make now, don't you? So when people come to you and ask forgiveness, I want you to understand maybe what went into that before they actually came to you. First, they had to recognize that what they did was wrong. Now remember, things do not happen in isolation, so maybe you had a part in it, and the person had to get over the fact that they needed to forgive you, and that they can't sit around and wait for you to ask for forgiveness. They just had to take responsibility for their part in the situation. By the time they humble themselves to that point, they've probably already forgiven you for whatever your part is, even if you don't recognize it, because none of this is about, hey, I did this horrible thing. It's just that as human beings, we act and react in ways that cause each other pain. That's why it's important to develop a lifestyle of forgiveness. And so if somebody comes to you and they say, hey, I was wrong for doing this thing and causing you this pain, will you choose to forgive me? You may have already forgiven them yourself. You may be thinking, yeah, I already forgave you for that. Tell them that. Because realize not everybody's going to be standing in front of you asking for forgiveness. You might receive an email. You might receive a text. You might receive a phone call. Believe it or not, you might actually receive a letter in the mail. This could be so important to that person that they actually sat down and hand wrote you a letter. When you do not respond, when you do not say, yes, I have chosen to forgive you, you've kind of left that other person hanging. Now, they aren't asking for forgiveness with an expectation of that, but there's value to you saying, yes, I choose to forgive you. The other person gets their closure on it that way, and that is a godlike thing to do, believe it or not. And if it's really horrible and you don't forgive them, it's okay to say, hey, I'm not ready to forgive you for that yet, but I will sit with the Lord and I will ask him to help me to forgive you. Because if you don't at least acknowledge it, it's not a comfortable place to be. I've been in that position where I very sincerely have asked for forgiveness and the person never says, I forgive you. Now, one of the problems you may have is you think, hey, if I say I forgive you, will this person think, now we're going to have a relationship again? You could add that. I am choosing to forgive you, but I'm not ready for a relationship at this time. Or they may try to then pursue a relationship with you, and you may later have to say, I'm not at a place where I trust you or I'm ready for that relationship. But I do still want to encourage you to at least acknowledge that somebody asked you for forgiveness, whether you're ready to forgive or not, if you have forgiven them, and whether you're ready for a relationship or not. It's important for you to respond appropriately so the other person will know that you at least received their request. I'm Dr. Pauline Dillard, and this has been a Dunamas moment.